Hi. So in this video, we are going to learn about objects in JavaScript. And as we grow as a programmer, we will find that the objects are being used in most of the places. So let's begin with the example how to create the object. One way of creating an object is like this. I'm creating a car and I'll declare this value, new object, and car dot make is Audi. Car dot year is 2018. Car dot do is 4. So how do we read the content of this object? We'll cons- we can use the dot notation or square notation to read the content. So we can say car dot make, or we can say car dot do. It will give us a information that this object has a property make, which returns the value od, and another property do, which returns the information for. So likewise we have a square bracket notation. So in here it returns that it is 2000 year model. This is one way of creating an object. There's another way of creating an object is by initializing object initialization, in which I can say var vehicle equal to make Audi do for year 2020. Now if I have accessed this particular object, I can access in the same way how we did in previous example of initialization of the object. I can specify vehicle instead of car. So it calls new objects Audi door 4 and 2020 model. We can say Audi new version, just to distinguish. So I'll keep different values. It's a Audi new version door 2 and 2020 model. There's another way of initialization the object. It is called constructor function. We can say we can create a constructor. We'll say function pillar make and year will pass, and in here we can say this dot make equal to make. So we are passing that value which has been passed during initialization later, which we'll see later, to its own object this, and this dot year equal to year. And how to use this constructor? In order to use a constructor, I'll say var wheel equal to new wheeler, and I'll give a make BMW, and year is going to be 2024, and I can call these objects just the way how we did for the wheel and the car. We can call either with the dot notation, and or we can call with the square bracket notation. It says BMW and 2024. Now there's another way of creating an object. It's called object create. So I can create a variable country name. Default name is India, and I'll say display name function. It could be function console.log this dot name, and once this has been created, I can this object is created, I can call it var indi India int object dot create country, and the default value is India, so I'll call that console.log int dot name. It says India. There's a what we can do if I have to specify another country like USA. I can create an object USA dot name. I'll give USA, and now I'll console it out console.log, and I'll call USA dot display name function. It is not returning anything, it is calling itself, so I'm just going to keep like this display name. So it says USA. Likewise, in here, if I call this particular name for int, it says India. For USA, it says USA. So these are the examples how we can create the objects. There are different ways of creating, and we discussed all. And now we'll discuss there's a way in which we could able to iterate the objects, or we can access the objects itself. So we can add new object, we can delete new object, we can validate whether the property is existing in that project. We can add new object and can have a nested objects. So we'll see all those examples what else we can do with the object once it has been created. So I'll pick up the example of the vehicle. So I'll just take console dot log vehicle. We have all this information. What if I want to delete the object property door? How do I do? Delete vehicle dot door, and then again I log out vehicle. So it removes the door object. If I have to access one specific property like year, in that case I say year. I can say year. It will say it is 2020 model. So in this way we can look up the value. Now what else we can do? We can check whether this property is present or not, validating the property. We can say console.log vehicle dot has own property, and I'm looking for make. So it will return it's true or false, that does it has the property called make. It I have did a typo. It's property. So it says true, it does have the make. If I say make one and look for this property, it says no, it doesn't have, because it doesn't have that property in here. So in this way we can validate the object's property as well. Now what if I want to I want to access and modify the nested objects. So in this vehicle I'm just going to add vehicle dot accessories property. In that property I'm saying it is going to have AC, air condition, true. Extra wheel, true. Sun roof, true. So now if I console out a vehicle, so we'll find that our object has a nested object. And what we can do, we can modify this nested object and we can access this nested object. If how do we access the nested object? As an example, I want to access the sunroofing. What I can do, dot accessories and I can call sunroofing. So in this way I can say, yeah, it does have the sunroofing. If what if I want to edit this property? I want to say this does not have the sunroofing, and then later I want to call vehicle object. In here we can see, here it is saying false, it doesn't have. So what we did, we override, we did the nested object. What if I want to see all the keys? It says keys of object. In that case we can call vehicle con- we can call console.log vehicle dot keys, sorry, object dot keys and object of vehicle. Then it shows make, year, and accessories. It doesn't show the nested one, the AC, air condition, or extra wheel, or sunroofing. So these are some of the properties which we can use, we can play around, and we can use in our long program to create an object and access the data inside the object. Thank you.